Good morning and welcome back, explorers. I'm Douglas. Sadly, no Alistair again today, and we are the Highland Hikers. Join me today as I attempt a couple of Corbetts for a change. I'm going to do the Brack and Cnoc Coinnich, which are starting from this car park in Ardgartan, which is just a few miles around the corner from Ardgartan. So there's some familiar hills in this area, the Ardgartan Alps, Ben Narnain, Benim, etc., which we'll be able to see when we get a bit higher up today. It's about a 16-kilometre walk with just under 1100 metres of ascent, so you know, still a pretty decent walk to do, so quite looking forward to it. Nice and cold this morning, but clear skies, so hoping for a good one today. Okay, well, we've been going for about 2 kilometres now along the forestry access path, so it's been pretty easy going so far, but now's the point where we actually head off the path and go up the hill itself. You can see behind me we've got the path just starting here, the wee sign here showing hill walkers, so that seems like the right way to go, and then slightly over to there you can see we've got another sign that mentions that is the route up to the Brack at a height of 787 metres. Just wanted to check that to make sure I got it correct. No, it's an absolutely lovely day today. The sun is starting to come out, that's the fog lifting. If I turn around a wee bit, should hopefully be able to see across behind those trees. The sun is starting to peek out onto the hillside there. So I'm hoping once we get a bit higher we should have some really nice views of the Ardgartan Alps and of course down Loch Long itself. We've just exited from the forest. That was quite a steep bit of a walk there. It was a wee bit boggy at sections, but not too bad. Fairly good path. And we've now got a lovely view behind us out towards the Rest and Be Thankful. You can see there's some nice low-lying fog still in the valley, quite atmospheric. And I think the actual main road, the A83, is still closed at the moment. You can see cars heading up the old military road. So it's kind of a convoy system they've got in place because only one line of cars can go up at any one time. If you've been following any of the sort of Traffic Scotland news, there's been loads of landslides on that bit of the A83, and they're having to do quite a bit of work to try and make the road kind of passable and usable again. So you know, hopefully they'll get it done and that will be it, but it seems every couple of years there's some sort of landslide or something going on there, and it's not great because it's, you know, one of the main access roads in and around the Highlands of Scotland. But no, absolutely lovely day so far today. We're getting above the mist and the sun's out and fantastic views, so just looking forward to getting a bit higher up this hill and seeing what we can see. Up quite a boggy section just now. I think we're close to a kind of wee rivery bit, so it's been quite boggy at this bit. It's not too bad, you can kind of mostly avoid it, but yeah, just watch your footing. Starting to get quite high up as well now, kind of getting close towards the sort of summit plateau, so yeah, looking forward to getting up here and seeing what we can see. Well, that's us nearly at the top of the first Corbett of the day now, Ben Brack, and you can see behind me we've got a lovely cloud inversion down in the glen there. Not sure you can see me very well, I'm probably silhouetted a bit here, but no, it's an absolutely fantastic view that we've got right now. Yeah, stunning, picturesque, all those superlative words that you can think of. Well, that's us at the summit of Ben Brack now, the first Corbett of the day, and a nice trig pillar so you know you're at the summit. I have to say that was a really nice walk up to a height of 787 metres, so not as high as the Munros obviously. Which is what makes the Corbetts quite interesting. A lot of people don't bother walking up the Corbetts because they don't reach that magical 3,000 feet for a Munro. The Corbetts are between 2.5 and 3,000 feet. So they tend to get ignored a wee bit, but you can get some stunning views from the top of them. I've been going on about it all day so far today about how nice the view is. We've had, you know, we can see some of the Munros behind us, Ben Narny and Ben Eam, spinning round as well. We've still got that lovely cloud inversion down over Loch Long, and in fact you can actually see the loch is starting to appear now from out of the clouds that had been completely covered up until now. So yeah, no, absolutely loving this day so far. Very still, hardly any wind about. It's like ideal conditions. So yeah, first one done. We're going to head along and drop down to kind of Bealach between this and the next one, get a bit of lunch, and then continue up to Cnoc Coinnich for the second Corbett of the day. So that's me just reached the midpoint between the two Corbetts of the Brack and Cnoc Coinnich. And this is actually where the route crosses over the Cowell Way. You can see we've got a post just behind us that indicates the Cowell Way heads down that way. And what we're going to do now is we do a short out and back up to Cnoc Coinnich behind us. We'll come back to this point and then head down following the Cowell Way back to the car park. You could as well, if you didn't want to do the second Munro, if you've just done Ben Brack, you could then just head straight back down that way along the Cowell Way to the car park. Although it's not too far from here to head up to the second Corbett, so that's what I'm going to do. It's also just occurred to me that I seem to keep changing the name of that first Corbett that we've done. It's not Ben Brack or Ben Brack or some sort of combination therein. It is just the Brack. So apologies for getting that wrong so far. Hopefully I won't make that mistake again. Well, that's me reached the summit of the second Corbett of the day at Cnoc Coinnich. So interesting fact, this wasn't actually a Corbett until very recently. It was only 4 years ago, I think 2016, that this was promoted to a Corbett after the height was resurveyed. If you check on the map, you'll actually see that it's still down as a height of 761 metres. Which is about 2,495 feet, so like 5 feet short of actually being a Corbett. But after a resurvey, it's down as that magic 2,500 feet mark, an actual height of 763 metres. So it does get in there as a Corbett, and I have to say, I'm glad it is. I'm glad we came out here. The views from here are possibly better than they were at the summit of the Brack. We can see behind us, got a lovely view down towards Loch Long, which has now had that kind of fog lifted, and you can see the loch, and you can also see Loch Lomond peeking out as well. Not much of a gap between the two, Loch Lomond being freshwater, whereas Loch Long's a sea loch. And then if we turn around a wee bit, in the other direction, we've still got a big bank of fog sitting down there over Loch Goyle. That seems to be holding on to it that bit longer. But no, it's absolutely, as I've said before, stunning conditions for this walk today. Really glad we're up here. You know, it's fantastic. Oh yeah, and this is only my seventh Corbett actually. Don't tend to do them, as I mentioned before. People tend to kind of ignore the Corbett's in favour of the Munros. So I've only gone out and done 2 walks that you would consider just doing the Corbetts. I did Ben Ledi way back in 2004, Ben Eich in 2012, and then the next 3 Corbetts I only did them because they were part of routes that we were doing for Munros anyway, so you're not sure you can count them as actually doing sort of Corbett walks. Whereas today we've come out to do 2 Corbetts, the Brack and Cnoc Coinnich, and they haven't disappointed. You know, as I say, fantastic views, stunning scenery, great day for it. No less stunning than you would see from the top of any of Scotland's taller mountains, the Munros. So yeah, if you're only bagging Munros, you know, think about doing a wee Corbett. It's nice, and there's plenty of them as well. So yeah, that was Corbett number 7 for me, Cnoc Coinnich. We are back on the Loch Lomond and Cowell Way now, having completed the out and back up to the second Corbett of Cnoc Coinnich. So the Loch Lomond and Cowell Way, it's a long distance footpath. It runs for 90 kilometres from Portavadie in the southwest, and it kind of runs in a northeasterly direction along most the Cowell Peninsula mainly, and then along up to Inveruglas on the shores of Loch Lomond. If you've seen our last couple of videos doing Ben Vane and Ben Vorlich, Inveruglas car park is where the route finishes, and if you wanted to, you could consider taking the ferry across Loch Lomond from that point, and there's some other walks you can continue on to on the other side. But yeah, it's a 90 kilometre walk. sort of thing that would take you somewhere in the region of, I don't know, 5 to 7 days, depending on how quickly you wanted to do it. But yeah, we are on the Kilway now. I guess this must be one of the higher points of it, heading over the Bealach between these two Corbetts, and we're now just about to descend into the forestry section. So yeah, it's been good so far, really enjoyed it. Great walk, looking forward to getting down back into the forest a wee bit and then heading along the shores of Loch Long for a bit. Once you get off the hillside and kind of through the first wee forestry section, you then hit the big kind of main forestry access tracks, which are obviously much easier to walk on. So at this point it should be relatively quick and easy going to get back to the car park now. Looks like a nice wee section for some mountain biking here, as advertised by this wee post over here. Saw a guy running up past us as well, so that looked like quite a climb he was doing. It's been good. Just make sure when you do hit these forestry paths, there are quite a few of them that branch out through the forest, so keep an eye on the signs for Loch Lomond and Kilway, just to make sure you don't go off in the wrong direction. That's us almost back at the car now. Just got a nice wee stretch here along the side of Loch Long on the Kilway. We've now successfully reached the end of the walk, and we are back at the Ardgartan Visitor Centre where the car park is. Oh, that's been an absolutely spectacular day out. We've had really nice views. That was a lovely walk to go and do. Getting a couple of Corbetts in the bag as well, something a bit different from the usual Munros bagging that I tend to do. So yeah, all in all, great walk, great day. Probably add some more Corbetts to the list of walks that I come and do now, I think, because I think there's quite a few good ones to be had. The one thing I haven't mentioned about Corbetts is They have to have a 500-foot drop around them to be classed as a Corbett, whereas Munros, it's a bit more subjective. So it's like areas where you can get, you know, like 4, 5, 6, 7 Munros in one day, whereas with Corbett's they're a bit more spaced out because they have to have that drop between them, which means actually even getting 2 Corbett's in a route can be quite rare. I think there might be a few places where you can get 3, possibly 4, but they tend to be a lot more solitary. So that kind of makes them a bit more challenging, even though there's fewer of them. I think there's about 220 Corbett's compared to the 282 Munros. I think it's a lot more difficult to actually bag them all because they can be a bit more isolated. But no, been a great day out, really enjoyed that. A shame Alistair wasn't here, but I'm sure he will be here in the next one, and we will see you guys then.